Which faction should you choose in Skyrim? From the early moments of the game, you're given your first major choice. Either A, join the Imperials, or B, join the Stormcloaks. Now, while either option is okay, I'm here to tell you which faction you should choose and the answer as to why. The why being why you should choose X faction. So that, with that all being said, let's just talk about the two factions. The Stormcloaks. The Stormcloaks are essentially the Starks of Skyrim. They live in a cold, desolate place with the self-proclaimed King of the North, named Ulfric Stormcloak, who was essentially Eddard Stark. But Ulfric only becomes king in the north, quote-unquote, after overthrowing a tyrant by using a cheap battle move called Fus Roda, or probably something in that realm of those dragon breath powers that you can do. Why don't we talk about their sigil, which is a more fearsome predator than Jeffrey Epstein. The sigil is a bear, where in comparison the Starks is a direwolf, which is the same thing because they just eat people. To sum up the Stormcloaks and just an overall thing, they're just a bunch of rebel scum who threw a temper tantrum because they didn't want to fall in line with everybody else. The Imperials. Man, the Imperials. God, how much I love the Imperials. Sorry, I can't pick favorites this early on. I must give you, as the audience, the illusion that everything is fair. If I were to compare the Imperials to anyone, it would be like the Lannisters. Because literally everything they touch turns into gold. And their sigil is something better than a bear. It's a goddamn dragon, which, according to this Reddit post, is because they were ruled by Dragonborns, which is you. So if that doesn't sound like destiny, I don't know what does. Plus, I unironically chose to be a lizard person, and the equivalent I kind of made it to be was like a stone cold Steve Austin. And if I'm correct, lizards are essentially just small dragons. Their primary color, by the way, is red, which pretty much signifies blood, which is only spilled due to corporate greed, which is great because greed means expendable income, which means as the enforcer, I will do nothing short of profit, which probably makes me like a warmonger or something, I guess. So which faction is the correct faction? It's the Imperials. For one major reason, and one major reason only, it's the fact that your role with the Imperials is the equivalent of Darth Vader, meaning I carry out every single task to take down some rebel scum, which is extremely satisfying because I hated the way Game of Thrones ended, so putting a halt to everything in the North was extremely satisfying for me. By the way, I do have one little last piece. The Game of Thrones. Make sure you're always playing the Game of Thrones, no matter which faction you end up choosing, no matter which faction you end up becoming like the enforcer for, because if Littlefinger taught me anything in Game of Thrones, it's the fact that chaos isn't a pit. Chaos is a ladder. And I might be misunderstanding this, but my interpretation of what that means is you should always capitalize on another person's mistakes because that is the Game of Thrones. But I would like to thank you for watching. Let me know in the comment section below what faction you ended up choosing, what you think is the better choice. And by that, I mean why you think the Imperials are unequivocally the best faction in the entire game. If you did enjoy this video, maybe leave a like or don't. Subscribe because that always helps me beat this guy in getting to the top. Because that is the Game of Thrones. Alright, bye.